a good day. Welcome all of you in third part of our chapter Heredity and Evaluation. The today's topic is the theory of evaluation. In last topic of evaluation, I have explained what the meaning of evaluation, and accordingly the human has found some theory and out of which the gradual development theory was most accepted, and this theory was also known as theory of evaluation. Now this theory of, according to this theory of evaluation, it is been considered that the first living organism or first living thing was found in the ocean, and it was named as protoplasm. Now this protoplasm was slowly developed into a unicellular organism, and like amoeba or paramecium, and this unicellular organism slowly developed into a large organism, and this is how we are developed towards the large animals and plant. But this development was very slow and gradual, and this is also known as evaluation. This was known as evaluation. Now this evaluation has taken up to 300 crores of year. It took the time of 300 crores of year because the process was very slow and gradual. And due to it is not only that the organisms are developed, but it is that the cells are also developed in different types. That is, the development was multi-dimensional. That's why there were lot of different variety of cells were developed at that time, and hence this changes is also known as evaluation. This is the fact that this is called evaluation. Now according to, and which was organizational, and then another definition of evaluation we can put in on is that progressive development of plant and animals from ancestor having different structural and functional organization is called evaluation. This is the another definition of evaluation according to the theory of evaluation. Let's start to the forward. As I have explained you theory of evidence, this theory of evaluation has some evidence, because without the support of any evidence we cannot prove the theory, and according to this there are almost 6 evidence, out of which first is morphological evidence. You can observe the picture or image I have posted, and according to this image, if you observe the images of all the animals, all the animals are having some similarities in the structure, like their mouth, position of eye, structure of nostril and ear pinna, and thickly distributed hair on the body are seen in animal, whereas similarly the common character you can observe in the case of plants, that is leaf shape, venation, leaf petiole, etc. occurs. This indicate that there are some similarities in this group, and hence it proves that their origin must be of same and must have common ancestor. So this is the morphological evidence. Now we are coming forward toward the second evidence, that is known as anatomical evidence. Now, for this anatomical evidence you can observe the structure of bones. The various structure of bones is been shown here, that is human head, and that is not a cat foreleg, it is a ox foreleg, then pangium of bat and flipper of whales. These are the different bone structure of different animal, and their function is also different. There is no similarity except the some points are similar, like the way the joints has been positioned. Means the joints you can observe in various different form, they have some similarities, like superficial similarity between human hands, it is not cat foreleg, it is ox foreleg, and the flipper of whales and patagium of bat. Similar use of each of those structure is different in respective animal. However, their similar structure similarity in the structure of bones and bony joints in the organ of each of those animal. This similarity indicates that those animal may have a common ancestor. That's what I want to say, that you can observe the picture, that all the bony structure which is being projected in the picture are showing different positions, and they are of different animals, and but they are having different functions also, but the main similarity is the way the bones are being joined, and this similarity can can be the proof that they must have some common ancestor. Now we are towards the third evidence, that is vestigial organ. Now, what do you mean by vestigial organ? Vestigial, first of all, look on the spelling, because it is not waste, it is west, V-E-S-T. It is not W-A-S-T-E as you pronounce it. Vestigial organ means these are the organ which are degenerated or underdeveloped. Unless organ, useless organ of organism are called as vestigial organ. Now, what is the meaning of degenerated? Degenerated means the organ was fully developed initially and slowly they are getting degraded, or you can say some organs are not fully developed, means they are there but they are not functioning, that is they are half developed. Such type of organ which are present in our body are known as vestigial organ. In living organisms, sudden development of new tissue or organ for living in changing environment is not possible. Instead, existing organ undergo gradual changes. Means what? That initially the organs are already given, God gifted to us. There is nothing like something is being generated, but there is something being degraded. Means if that organ is not useful for our body, or we are not using for long time due to environmental changes, that organ are going to be degraded. For example, the monkey tailbone, that is degraded in our system. There is monkey bone in our body, but the tail is not generated, means it is half developed, or you can say it is degraded. And second, you can also focus on our appendix, as appendix has a function in some animal, but in human being it is degraded, it is not useful, because initially the human used to eat a raw material, but now it is now we are eating or having a habit of cooked food, and due to which this appendix is become a functionless, means it was initially present in our body, as we are not using it according to the changes in the environment or surrounding, that's why it is being converted into vestigial in our system, but it is still active in another organism, like it is still active in animals, but it is inactive in human being, but it is present in the human being. This is the meaning of this sentence. Now, such example of vestigial organs are appendix, and that is useless in human, or useful in fully functional organ in ruminants. Ruminant means the variety of monkey. Similarly, muscles of ear, pinea, which are useless in human and are useful in monkey for movement of ear, pinea. You can observe that there we have an extension of ear which is useless in our body, but it is useful in monkeys. And various vestigial organ like tailbone, as I have discussed, wisdom tooth. Wisdom tooth is also there in our mouth. In some there is, and in some there is not. But that wisdom tooth has no use in our body. And the body hair are present in the body on human being. As if these hair are also useless on our body, and it is becoming less day by day. We are not having a much longer hair as the animal has, but still we are having a hair. Now this hair are under a degradation position. In further generation, slowly it may be possible that this hair may be vanished, but still they are under degraded steps. So such type of organs are known as vestigial organ. Let's come on towards the fourth evidence of this theory, that is planiotological evidence. Now what does it means? It means the evidence which is being formed or which we are proving depending upon the fossil. You can observe some picture given in your textbooks related to planetological evidence, and this is called as fossils. You can observe this. Observe these pictures. These are some pictures related to fossil. Now what exactly this fossil means? This fossil means they are the buried things which is been buried for large number of time. And why it is been buried? Because due to some reason like earthquake, disaster like flood, earthquake, volcano, etc. The remnants and impression of such organism remain preserved underground, and these are called as fossil. The study of fossil is an important aspect to study the study of evaluation. So this evidence is depending upon the study of fossil. So you have understand what fossil means. Fossil means the buried organism which is been buried long time before due to some reasons like earthquake, volcano or any other disaster. Now actually what is happening, that carbon consumption of animal and plants stop after death, and since then only the decaying process of C14 occurs continuously. Now what is C14? Carbon 14 is known as radioactive carbon. When the animal or plant died out, this carbon which is known as radioactive carbon start decaying, and it get converts into carbon 12. Carbon 12 is non-radioactive, but carbon 14 is radioactive. So we calculate the ratio between C14 and C12 changes continuously, and this calculation help us to identify the time passed since from the death of plant or animal, and hence this is known as a carbon dating method. And this method is used in planetological and anthropological study for determining the age of human fossil and manuscript. And once the age of fossil is been determined by such technique, it become easy to deduce the information about other erect wild organism. It seems that the vertebrate has been slowly originated from invertebrate. So this was another proof which is been proved by the planetological study, that the vertebrates are being slowly developed by the invertebrate, which can be explained by the structure of ground level fossil. You can see the ground level fossil, that on the upper side there are aves and mammal, and on the lower side there is reptile, and below that there is amphibians and reptile, and below that there is Piscean, and below that there is invertebrates. So this graph is moving from invertebrates to the vertebrates. So this was the proof that invertebrates or vertebrates are being generated from invertebrate. Accordingly, they are also mentioned the side era. That means the three division, that is invertebrate, Piscean, reptile and amphibian, is a Planozoic era, then Mesozoic era, and then Cenozoic era, which is the present era. Now one more thing I want to discuss here, that this carbon dating method was first introduced by Willard Libby, and he was awarded the Nobel Prize in 1960 for this invention. Now I am towards the fifth evidence of this theory, that is known as connecting link. Connecting link, you can observe some pictures like duckbill Polypectus, lungfish and Peripectus. These are some organisms having some similarities, like some plants and animals show some morphological character by which they can be related to different groups. Hence they are called connecting link. Connecting link means these organisms are the middle one which are joining two different classes. So these are the example of connecting link. For example, first of all you can observe that Peripectus character like segmented body. Peripectus is given here, and you can see that it has some segmented body. This segment are the characteristic of Annelida family body, and it is having a thin cuticle, means it is having a shiny body, and parapodium like organ are present. Parapodium means the number of feet you can observe for locomotion, and this number of feet are known as parapodia. And similarly this animal show trachea, respiration and open circulatory system similar to arthropod. That means it is having half character of Annelida and half character of arthropod. That is, it is breathing through nostril. That means it is having a tracheal respiratory system, and it is also having a open circulatory system, and these two character of our arthropod. That means this Peripactus is a connecting link between the two varieties, that is Annelida and arthropod. Similarly, you can observe the next example of duck bellypactus. The duck bellypactus lays eggs like reptile, but show the relationship with mammals too, and due to the presence of mammalian gland and hair. So this is the connecting link between the mammals and reptiles, because it lays the egg like reptiles and it has a mammary gland. Mammary gland means milk producing gland. Focus on the spelling. It is not memory, it is mammary gland, and it is also having a hair. So it is a connecting link between reptiles and mammals. And likewise, the third example is lungfish. Focus on the name, that lungfish. You all know that the fishes respire through gills, but this is the fish which respires through lungs. So this is a lungfish. So you can indicate, this example indicate that mammals are evolved from reptiles and amphibians from fish. Means the lungfish is been connecting link between amphibians and fishes. Now we are forward towards the last evidence of Darwin's theory of evaluation, theory of evaluation, that is embryological evidence. Now in embryological evidence, if you see the embryological stages, that is in diagram, you can observe that there are given 3 stages of each organism. Like fish, they have given 3 stages. In second, salamander. Salamander is a variety of a frog. It is also given in 3 stages. Likewise, tortoise, chicken, pig, cow, rabbit and man. Now all these are a different organism which is been distributed in 3 developing stages, but there are similarities if you observe carefully. Like in first stage, you can observe that each animal is similar. There are very rare limited changes, like size only, and then in second also there are some similarities, and then in third initially similarity, and then slowly there is a differentiation. So this all is that this all organism must have a common ancestor. This what the this embryological study wants to say, that comparative study of embryological development stage of various vertebrates given in this picture, that all embryos show extreme similarity during initial stage. Initial stage means during first stage and second stage, and similarity decreases during the third stage. Those similarity in initial stage indicate that there must have a common origin.